All right. Glad to see you guys rolling in here. It's been a while since I've done a YouTube live, so you guys bear with me. I think the last time I did a live, I had about right at 2,000 followers, and now here we are with closing in on 25,000. So it's going to be different. But I really appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to have a lot of fun here tonight, and hopefully I'll be able to see the comments. And if anyone has any requests, we'll be taking them. But I hope you guys have had a good week, and I hope you guys are getting ready to have a good weekend. I really appreciate y'all being with me here on this YouTube live. So just letting some people get rolling in here, and then we'll get started with the show. I got some songs I'm going to play for you. Hello, West Virginia. Glad to see you in here. We'll get to cranking some songs out once we get some people in here. I was going to make sure, too, I've got the post scheduled to share over to Facebook and all the other places, so hopefully it will. If not, I'm going to share it real quick over there before we get started. But yeah, we should be in. All right. Again, thank you guys so much for being with me. I'm just getting it shared over to the other platforms real quick, and then we'll get rolling on it. There we are. Hey, California. Good to see you in here. But I'm getting it over there, too. I had several people messaging me, asking me if it was going to be on Facebook, and it is as soon as I get it over there to it. So here we go. That's what I'm doing now. I'm getting it over there to Facebook land and everyone else. Middlesboro, Kentucky's in the house. Good. I grew up there. Here we go. So I've seen my hometown in here. I've seen New York, seen California. Colorado, you're in Boebert's district? Oh, man. Well, I got some songs for you. Let's see. I'm going to get it shared over here to Facebook real quick. Make sure we're in there. And then we'll get rolling with some songs. But yeah, really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to tune in. And hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone is having a good weekend. All right, 1 second, folks. There we go. I'm just getting it over to Facebook for us, getting it set up here. Like I said, I haven't done one of these in quite a while here on YouTube. Now, we did one on Facebook a few weeks ago. I always have my laughing Buddha here with me at some point. I want to tell you guys a story about how kind of this whole thing got started. Back during the pandemic, you know, all the gigs got canceled. I've been a musician for 25 years, and all the gigs got canceled. And when that happened, I ended up having to find new ways to get the music out there to people and to connect with the people that have been coming out to my shows. And so we started doing a show that I ended up calling Live at the Kitchen Table. And we did those for a while, mainly on Facebook is where those happened, on my Facebook page and a Facebook group that I have. I tried a couple on YouTube, but it seemed like we always had more of an audience over there. But now we've like more than quadrupled our followers. Because like I said, hell, we had right at 2,000 followers a few months ago. Now we're closing in on 25,000, so that's a big jump. And yeah, so we had the Kitchen Table Crew, and that was a whole lot of fun. We did that for all through the pandemic and beyond. Even after the pandemic ended, we still kept that going. But anyway, I put this little laughing Buddha up here on the table as a good luck charm, and I'll have the story and the song behind that here coming up. But I figured we get rolling with some tunes. Me and the band has been in the studio. We've been working on my new album, Shots of Truth Volume 2. I'm hoping to get it out around Black Friday, somewhere in there. Hopefully, maybe sooner. And this here's a song that I almost didn't include on the album. I actually wrote it, and I've shared it on my Patreon. If you remember my Patreon, you've heard it over there. I shared a demo that I made of it. I almost didn't put it on the album, but then as we got near the end of it, I was deciding what songs would go where, and I decided to go ahead and throw this song on there. And when I did, once I put it on the album and once the band played it behind me, I thought, well, I'm really glad I included this one, because the name of the song is called A Beer with Garth. Back earlier this year, we had the whole Kid Rock and the Bud Light fiasco and all of that big hoopla. And when we did, not long after that, Garth Brooks came out and made a comment that, he was still going to serve Bud Light in his bar. And he said that he understood that not everybody would want to come around, but if they wanted to be an asshole, they could go somewhere else. And I just thought it was so crazy how people came down on him so hard for that. It was like everyone was attacking him for being all-inclusive. Everyone was attacking him for trying to, to welcome people into his bar and telling people don't be an asshole. And to be dead honest with you guys, back when Garth Brooks first came out, I'm not going to lie, me and my family, we all had his first couple albums. But then, it just seemed like he went more and more pop. And when he did the whole Chris Gaines thing, he kind of really lost me on that. I wasn't a fan. And so, I never would have thought that one day in the crazy world we live in that I would be agreeing with Garth Brooks and siding with him and going, man, why is everybody picking on Garth? And so I just got to thinking, I thought, man, what is the world coming to when I'm now... I'm going to go to Nashville here in a couple of weeks, and when I do, I'm probably going to go down to Garth's bar and have a beer. And I probably wouldn't have had a couple of years ago, but that's how they say politics makes for strange bedfellows. So here we are. We're having a beer with Garth, and thank you guys for being with me here at the table. It felt like the times were changing, or so we all believed. Thought we were making progress, damn were we naive. Some folks need a hero, and that hero found his crowd and gave them all the balls to say the quiet parts out loud. Rage became the fashion, disrespect became the trend. Assholes want to make hate great again. Politics make for strange bedfellows. And now here we are, tuning out the trits and having a beer with Garth. We get told we hate our country if we don't back their guy. We point out the obvious, they hit their gaslight. They tell us we hate Jesus while they sit and wish us death. I read the book and they don't look a thing like the words in red. Then rage became the fashion, disrespect became the trend. Assholes want to make hate great again. Politics make for strange bedfellows. And now here we are, tuning out the kid and having a beer with Garth. Yeah, we're tuning out all the bullshit and having a beer with Garth. Again, thank you guys so much for being with me here at the table. I really appreciate you being here and tuning in. And hope everyone's having a good Friday. I think we're going to have a lot of fun here. I really appreciate the compliments and the high praise there. I have been a fan of Tom T. Hall for some time. And so he's one of my absolute all-time favorite songwriters. So to even mention me in the same breath, I'm humbled by that. Thank you. I'm just adding some stuff over here to Facebook real quick, and then we will keep rolling with the show. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Like I said, that one is going to be on the new album, Shots of Truth Volume 2. And so keep an eye out for that one. Hopefully I'll have it out soon. Thinking about maybe doing a Black Friday release. We'll see. how that works. A lot of times I will release my stuff first on Bandcamp, and so I may do it over there, but I'm just getting this stuff situated over on the Facebook page. I appreciate everyone that's hitting the tip jar. It's actually in the description of the video, but I know a lot of you are hitting them here on YouTube as well. I want you to know that you don't have to do that at all. I understand that times are tough and we're all struggling, so you don't have to, but I greatly appreciate anyone who has. I want you guys to know that for a fact. So there we go. We're getting rolling here. Well, thank you so much. See, you know, one thing, honestly, to be dead honest with you guys, that's my favorite kind of compliment to get. I love when someone says, you know what, I'm not really a country music fan, but I like what you're doing. You know, that's one of those things that I take as a high compliment, because I really wanted to, you know, in my mind, country music doesn't just belong to one side or the other. You know, I never thought that it did. Although, you know, in the last 20 years or so, it's definitely, ever since 9/11, I feel like that it's definitely took a harder shift into the right wing, and you know, with the rise of like all those Toby Keith songs and all that crap. And so I've always been influenced by a lot of the people that had a lot more progressive viewpoints anyway. A lot of the people that I listened to were guys like, you know, Willie Nelson and Chris Christopherson, John Prine, Johnny Cash, people like that. And so I think it's good that we've got to the point where people are starting to see, and there's other artists out there who are making country style music that's you know, maybe not be considered traditional, or it may end up drawing people in. There's guys, you know, like Adeem the Artist and different ones out there that are really changing the game, and I'm glad to see that happening. But a lot of the songs, let me grab the guitar, it's in the right tune here. I keep my guitars tuned to different tunings, and so I can write different stuff. But what I was going to say is, a lot of the songs I write are intended to be satirical. I'm purposely trying to find a way to find some, you know, dark humor in the whole thing. And so whenever I see something, you know, satire is when you take the stupidity of people's beliefs and you just hold it up to the light. It's when you use humor and irony and exaggeration to expose the stupidity of people's belief systems. And so that's kind of the template I keep in my head when I'm writing these songs. And one thing that really got me cracked up was when Ben Shapiro, he actually took a notepad, took him a pen and paper, and went and watched the Barbie movie, and got all upset and bent out of shape, and to the point that he went out and bought some Barbies and burned them. And so, you know, that's the kind of stuff that I think, yeah, we need to hold that up to the light and show it for the stupidity that it is. So I wrote this tune called The Legend of Barbie and Ben. Little Ben grabbed a pen and notepad, headed down to the picture show. Sat there red-faced and white-knuckled, his little head about to explode. Surrounded by those middle-aged mamas, shaking like a leaf and scared to death. What's he to do with all the madness, when Lord knows he can't get 'em wet? The radical woke mob, they done crossed the line. Trans Barbie, she drove him out of his mind. He sat there fuming while beating off Ken, and so goes the legend of Barbie and Ben. He's screaming boycott, he's got to get a handle on all of this Chinese far-left propaganda. He burned all the Barbies throughout the Jeep with Ken, and so goes the legend of Barbie and Ben. And so goes the legend of Barbie and Ben. All right. Speaking of the stupidity of some people's beliefs, one guy made the news today, and I put out a video of it about it earlier. Michael Lindell, the My Pillow guy, yeah, he lost 300 $1 million for being loyal to Donald Trump. You know, he continued to push the whole election was rigged lie, and he continued to put himself out there and just kept on and on until he fucked around and found out. You know, and the funny part about that is now that he's broke and can't even afford to pay his lawyers and all that good stuff, meanwhile, Donald Trump is like completely silent about that one because, as we know with most cult leaders, the only time that there's loyalty, the only loyalty in their camp is to him. He's not going to have any loyalty. He's not going to go over here and dig old Mike Lindell out of a hole. And so I guess Mike Lindell's just on his own. But in the meantime, I can write him a song to try to cheer him up. I watched him. He was being interviewed, and the guy made a comment about lumpy pillows, and he just went ballistic. And I tell you what, folks, honest to God, I've watched that video about 10 or 15 times. Every time I get depressed and need cheered up, I just watch that because it is so hilarious seeing how bent out of shape he gets over it. So, you know me, I just had to write him a song and cheer him up. So here we go. Lumpy pillows and bald-faced lies. 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 They thought Coffer's bullshit. They call him their guy. Who's his pallbearer? Look-alike. Grifting the gullible, cashing those checks, and all they got was just a crick in their neck. Lumpy pillows and bald-faced lies. 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 Everybody. Lumpy pillows and bald-faced lies. 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 All right. I saw the comment roll by of Percy Pringle. So we got a wrestling fan in the house because not very many people know that when I called him the pallbearer lookalike, for those of you that don't watch professional wrestling, there used to be a guy on there that went out with The Undertaker called Paul Bearer. And I've just always thought that Mike Lindell resembles Paul Bearer, which is kind of an insult to Paul Bearer. But anyway, yeah, and when I wrote that, I thought, you know, how could I go about writing this that would like get under his skin the most? Like, what would really annoy him? And I thought, well, the more I say lumpy pillows, the more upset he's going to get. So the truth of the matter is, I almost just wrote the song with just that. I wasn't even going to have the other verse in it. I was just going to sit and repeat lumpy pillows and just keep modulating and just keep going and going and going. And then I decided, I was like, but I had this idea in my head. This line hit me about grifting the gullible, cashing the checks, and all they got's a crick in their neck. And I thought, oh man, I gotta put that in there. So if I hadn't thought of that, it was just going to be those two lines over and over, because I just imagined that would definitely get him going the most. But again, thank y'all so much for being here with me on this Friday night. I hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. We're heading into my favorite time of year. I don't know about the rest of you guys. I'm going to move this Buddha around a little bit. Not getting rid of him, but he just kind of... Anyway, hope everyone's doing good and getting ready for fall. This is my favorite time of year. From here to the holidays, this is my favorite time of year, aside from the stress of the holidays. But hopefully we'll get through that. I'll tell you what, since I went ahead and I'll go ahead and do this since I've been talking about him. I saw some comments popping up here. But yeah, this little laughing Buddha has been with me when I was doing the kitchen table live streams back during the pandemic. I set him here as a little good luck charm, and he just became like people just expected to see him when they tuned in. So I decided to go ahead and leave him here. But I've told this story many times, but we've got a much bigger audience now than we had before, so I'm going to tell you guys because I know you've never heard it. Back years ago, I think it was 2017 it was. I'm going to rub his belly for good luck. But back in 2017, I was hanging out with a good friend of mine, and we were partaking in some good herb and other things. And while we were, we we were sitting outside around the campfire we'd made, and when we walked back inside, I sat down on the side of my friend's bed and I looked over, and this very laughing Buddha was sitting on her dresser, and I picked it up and just started laughing. I just found it funny. For some reason, the smile on his face cracked me up, and under the influence that I was under, it just got the more I looked at it, the funnier it got. Till pretty soon I was just rolling, laughing, hysterical. And my friend said to me, she said, you know, why are you laughing so hard at my Buddha for? And I said, well, because I said, he looks happy. She said, well, he is happy. I said, well, you know, I grew up in church, was raised up in the Pentecostal church. And I said, thing about it is, I said, we've got pictures of Jesus, and Jesus always looks miserable. He always looks stoic. He always looks kind of, you know, strung out. I said, you know, I've never seen Jesus smiling like that before in any picture. So anyway, the next morning when I got ready to leave, she handed me this Buddha, and she said, you take him with you. She said, I think you need it more than I do. And I said, well, I don't take your Buddha. You've had it forever. And she said, no, really. She said, I've never seen you laugh or smile that much, so you take him with you. And so I did. And I ended up, you know, getting back in. I had studied Buddhism back in high school, but I started studying it again. And it was one of those things that was perfect for the time. It really helped me get through a lot of things. And so I got to thinking about Buddha, and I got to thinking about that night that I discovered this little particular laughing Buddha. And I wrote this song called The Laughing Buddha. Buddha sat on her dresser with a Jimmy Carter smile. She said, rub his belly for good luck. You're gonna need it for a while. Come to think, when I've seen Buddha, he's got a glassy-eyed grin. Unlike the guy from my raising, he was always dying for sin. Jesus sat on the mantle. He had such a stoic face. He looked miserable above the altar and strung out at Grandma's place. And even knocking on my door, he had a sad look in his eye. Kinda got me thinking maybe I've been talking to the wrong guy. Well, I've done unto others, they nearly done me in. I've turned the other cheek, and they tried to cave it in. I laid down my life for people who would not go a mile for me. So Jesus, if you're listening, I hope somehow you see. I can't carry the cross no longer. I can't live with nail-scarred hands. I can't die for people who don't care to understand. And it is not my place to bear the sword in vain. I gotta be the laughing Buddha before I go insane. I'm no savior, I'm no healer. I don't have the answers yet. I'm not a preacher, I'm not a teacher. I'm just a poet with a pen. And I ain't gonna let them string me up just to serve as their own fate. So when they ask you how they lost control, tell them I'm awake. And I've done unto others, they nearly done me in. I turned the other cheek and they tried to cave it in. And I laid down my life for people who would not go a mile for me. So Jesus, if you're listening, I hope somehow you see. I can't carry the cross no longer. I can't live with nail-scarred hands. I can't die for people who won't try to understand. And it is not my place to carry guilt and shame. I gotta be the laughing Buddha before I go insane. I better be the laughing Buddha, or I just might go insane. All right. Thank y'all so much. Really appreciate y'all being here with me, and I hope y'all are having a good one. Thank you guys so much. I want to tell you, I really appreciate all of you who have hit that virtual tip jar. You didn't have to, but I really appreciate all of you that do. It all just goes to help me keep doing what it is that I do here in this crazy world. I started off playing music 25 years ago. I was 17 years old. Well, I started playing the guitar around the time I was 14 or 15. What happened was I actually started writing songs before I figured out that I wanted to be a guitar player or a songwriter. I was writing these poems in a notebook. I had a whole notebook full of them. And, where I was raised, my dad's family, they were big into hunting and fishing and all kinds of things. And I just kind of kept it to myself that I had all these poems in my notebook because I felt like that, my friends and my family would kind of poke fun at me over it, So I just kind of kept that a secret. And then when my dad got me my first guitar, which is a funny story in and to itself, it's pretty classic country music story. Like I said, my dad's family was big into hunting, and in this part of the world, coon hunting is a big deal. My grandpa actually had a dog that was in a magazine, one of those coon hunter magazines. That was like his little claim to fame, was he had that. And so anyway, we raised these Walker coon hounds, and one of them was mine. Now these things will go for like top dollar. They really will if they're registered pups and everything. And so my dad told me that he was going to sell my dog, and I was like, well, you can't do that. That's mine. And Dad's like, well, you don't go hunting with us anymore, and you don't do anything. You don't help feed it or anything like that. You're not really involved with it, so I'm going to, get it to a good home. So I was like, well, pay me for it. Give me the money. He's like, I'm not giving you the money. So a little while later, he came back in. He's like, I tell you what. He's like, I'm not going to give you money for it. He said, but actually, it's this guitar over here, sitting over here beside me. He said, but I've got this guitar. He's like, if you wanted to learn how to play it, he said, I gave $250 for it at Broadway Sound in Knoxville, Tennessee. He's like, why don't you, just maybe learn how to play it? Well, I looked over and I seen that notebook and I had all them poems in it. And I thought to myself, if I started writing, if I took those poems and set them to music, it'd be a song. And I'd be a songwriter and not a poet. And so that's how I ended up starting to learn how to play guitar. I learned how to play guitar just so I could write my own music. And then just from there morphed into playing in cover bands and garage bands and things like that. And then all these years later, here we are now doing what we're doing. And it's kind of funny when I look back at all of it because I've never really told this story before, but back in the early 2000s, I started writing a lot of blogs. And I started writing a lot of political commentary even back then. I was only like my early 20s at the time. And I actually sent in some of my pieces to different magazines. None of them ever got printed, but I sent them in anyway, trying to just get some of my political commentary out there. And I had this idea way back then that I would start like this newspaper. And in my head, this newspaper would be like a progressive style of newspaper for Appalachians. I thought I'd call it the Appalachian Flip Side. I had this whole big idea in my head. And I started writing blogs, and eventually I developed a bigger following doing that than I did playing music. That was all those years ago. And then I just kind of got away from it. I just kind of quit doing it and just started focusing harder on the music, getting out and playing every weekend and playing harder. And just, I don't like to use the phrase chasing the dream, but taking the ride is definitely what I was doing. And I just got into doing that for the longest time. And then, we come around to like 2021. And we're coming out of the pandemic and everything, and everything is, the pandemic, I think, really changed all of us. And it definitely made us look into ourselves and kind of rethink things. And it caused me to end up, coming down and going, okay, how am I going to do things differently? And I just got to thinking, for so many years I've been out there playing music, and I was playing my songs that I wrote, mixed in with cover tunes. And, I'm playing those tunes for people. And they're throwing tips in my tip jar to sing them a Skinner cover or a Waylon cover or something like that. But at the end of the day, they didn't remember me the next day, So I don't know. I just got to thinking about, well, what can I do, that would be different? I thought, what do I need to be doing? And then I said to myself, well, what should I not do? And the one thing that people will tell you not to do in this part of the world, especially in East Tennessee, they'll say, don't talk politics and religion. Just shut up and sing. And I thought, well, maybe I'll just start talking politics and religion. So I started doing it on TikTok, and the next thing you know, it just blew up over there. And then I started taking it across to the other platforms, and it all just started growing. And I think back to like roughly 20 years ago, almost now, here I was, having those ideas and writing those political blogs way back when. And some people have said to me here lately, well, that's what you should have been doing all along. And I don't know, maybe it is, but it's at the end of the day, you have to learn, and you have to grow, and you have to figure out where you're going in this world. And I think timing is everything. I think really you have to figure out where it is you're going. And it took a while, but I'm here all these years later. So doing what, I started off doing, really, I'm right back full circle doing this. And so, I don't have any desire to go out and play in cover bands anymore or do anything like that. I'm not interested in that at all. Although, me and a good buddy of mine are talking about doing a tribute to Leonard Skinner later on, like maybe a year or so from now. We wanted to, take the album One More from the Road and play it in its entirety, the way that they actually played the music, because so many bar bands bastardized them, especially in this part of the world. And if I was doing something like that, having fun with something like that, I could do it all day and have a blast. But as far as going out and sitting on a bar stool and having someone, yell wagon wheel at me, I'm way past that. So I have no desire to do that. I'd much rather write songs like this one that I know is going to get under people's skin. That's the thing. I mean, a lot of times you're playing out in little, sports pubs and places, and everybody's sitting there staring at their phone anyway. They're looking at their phone, they're talking over top of you, like, why's that guy over there with the guitar for? I can't count the times I've walked into places, and they're like, why is this guy carrying a guitar? And I'm like, well, I was booked to play here. So anyway, I thought, well, if they're going to sit and look at their phones, I'll give them something to look at while they're on it. And again, thank you guys so much for being with me. This tune here caught on pretty good, and I've had so many people ask me to play it, so we'll do it. I'll tell you what, man, if you're ever in an argument with a MAGA conservative, before it's over, they're going to, at some point in time, they're going to tell you that they're going to tell you all about Hunter Biden. He's always going to be their scapegoat. It doesn't matter. Donald Trump could curb stomp a puppy, and somebody would say Hunter Biden's laptop. And so I wrote this tune called A Hard On for Hunter. Marjorie's got a hard on for Hunter. Talks about him all the time. Shows off his dick pics to Congress. They drive her out of her mind. She tries like hell to suppress it. Tries like hell to project. She's got a hard on for Hunter. At least that's what we suspect. Junior's got a hard on for Hunter. He always hands him the blame for all of his dirty dealings and the time he misplaced his cocaine. He thinks that we all can't see it, that little twinkle he gets in his eye. Yeah, he's got a hard on for Hunter, and I don't think we have to ask why. With all the world's problems, getting back on our feet, breaking our backs just to make ends meet. They just can't help it, they just can't stop demanding to see Hunter's laptop. Yeah, the right wing's got a hard on for Hunter. He's there to divide and distract. Truth won't get in the way of their stories, and they won't be bothered with facts. They all wish that they could have partied like he did back in his day. They all got a hard on for Hunter, and the truth is they just couldn't hang. Yeah, the truth is they just couldn't hang. And I want to a lot of times when I do the video, I flick the pick at the screen just as a way to end it. And every time I play one of these tunes, I want to throw my pick at you, so I'll try not to. But I want to thank you guys so much. We have definitely set a record here today. When I went Facebook Live, I got up in the 200s on there as far as people tuning in. So we got 348 at the moment, and that's pretty damn awesome. We was up in the 350s a while ago. You guys be sure to share it out there on all the other social media platforms. Get it out there to everyone. And see how far we can take it tonight. I'll stick around for a while. I ain't got nowhere to go. And so we'll definitely stick around and keep doing this. We really appreciate it. Love you too. Thank you guys for being here with me. I really appreciate you taking time. And we'll just sit here and we'll play some songs. We'll talk about some things and just have fun. But yeah, I'll tell you what, I had Texas Paul. Now, you guys, for those of you that's been commenting, I saw Texas Paul's name roll across several times. For those of you that love Texas Paul and love Midas Touch Network, I had Texas Paul on my podcast. And for those of you that didn't know I have one. It's called If These Hills Could Talk. And it's a place for progressives and liberals in Appalachia, kind of what I was talking about earlier with my idea for the whole newspaper deal I had. That's what it's about. That's what we're there trying to do and everything. And so I had Texas Paul on the show, and he and I had a great conversation. We talked for almost an hour and a half. And so we definitely had a good time with that. Yeah, I definitely would. I know for a fact I would get along good with Trey Crowder. I've never met him. Actually, I've been in the same room with him before. Back before Trey Crowder ever blew up, I actually attempted to do stand-up comedy myself, and I sucked at it. I'm going to be dead honest with you. I don't tell this story very often, but since we've hit 370 and we're setting a record here on YouTube, I'll go ahead and I guess this will be the Truth or Dare episode. But I actually did attempt stand-up comedy back around 2010, 2011, somewhere in that ballpark. And there was a comedy club in Knoxville called Side Splitters, and I would go down there, and I would try my hand at it. I don't know, I did it maybe 5 or 6 times, is about all I did it. But I remember Trey Crowder being there in the crowd, and I remember him, on the open mics before he ever blew up and became the liberal redneck. And I thought he was funny back then, but man, he was funny on stage as a comedian back then, but he really latched into that liberal redneck thing. And when that came out, I was like, holy crap, I remember that dude. I remember that. And so, no, I've never met him personally, unless we just barely bumped into one another back then. We've never carried on a conversation, but he's definitely somebody that I would love to sit and talk with because he's great. I love what he does. I went to the Well-Read comedy show at the Bijou Theater in Knoxville, man. Him and Corey Ryan Forster and Drew Morgan, and they just they put on a clinic, and so it was really good. But I want to thank you guys so much for being here. Now we're getting up to 383, so yeah, that's good. I really appreciate you guys for helping me push this stuff out there and get it out there to the people. Thank y'all so much. So I'll tell you what, as we're continuing to grow here, I'll play y'all some more tunes. Now this tune here has been a favorite back when I was doing these shows at the kitchen table. This one definitely was a favorite. We'll play a couple of my older tunes. Hope you guys enjoy these. But if we can get up there to 400, we'll give a shout out. But yeah, back when I was growing up, man, I had one of the greatest great uncles ever. His name was Dale. And whenever Dale would come down for family reunions, I always got a kick out of him. I've told people before that it would be like if Richard Pryor and George Carlin showed up at your cookout, The guy was funnier than hell. Had some of the funniest jokes, funniest one-liners, and was just witty. You could never one-up Uncle Dale. But he was a hardcore atheist. He was just very vocal about not believing in God. And my family was very, very religious, and they would try to, push religion on him. Be like, Dale, you need to pray, Dale. You need to get right with God and all this. And one time they asked him to pray at a family reunion. They asked him to pray over the food, and he said, look, you guys pray to God, and I'll pray to Ben Matlock, and we'll both get the same results. And I burst out laughing. I was the only kid that did. My mom's elbowed me in the ribs, telling me to hush. And anyway, he was also very accident prone, and he battled cancer for so many years. A long time. Every time I would see him, he would always say, Brandon, I probably won't make it back down here again, but it was good knowing you. So when he came down and finally passed away, and I heard the story about what happened while he was on his deathbed, I said, there's the song I've been wanting to write about Uncle Dale for years. So we're closing in on 400. Let's do it for Uncle Dale. Took that curve too fast down at the junction. Cut that telephone pole clean in two. Doc said he'd be lucky to ever function, but he was right back at the Elks Lodge the 1st of June. Ate a hollow point slug once in a card game. Lucky for him, it hit his partial plate. Doc said half an inch in any wrong way, he'd have been meeting old St. Peter at the pearly gates. Uncle Dale, you got 9 lives, but you're running out of time. Don't you think you and Jesus might ought to make things right? He said, I prayed once to be in Matlock, and the results came out the same. And if the devil created rock and roll, well, I'll be dancing in the flames. Well, we did it. Got in a brawl with a St. Bernard in Detroit. Old Cujo went straight for the throat. His family sure had one hell of a story when he sent that mutt packing on down the road. Stabbed in the gut, sitting in his recliner. Poor Aunt Betty took all that she could take. 2 weeks later, he was back down at the diner, showing a scar to the waitress on her brace. Doc said, sir, you better get your things in order. Write your will, you're running out of time. He said if they couldn't shut me up at the Korean border, well, I'd love to see this cancer give it a try. 15 years later at his bedside, the family begged him, please, Dale, let us pray. With a defiant grin and a twinkle in his weak eyes, these were the last words that he had to say. Your Uncle Dale has lived 9 lives, and now I'm running out of time. But how do you know me and Jesus ain't already made things right? But if he and I have spoke about where I'm bound to go, will you hypocrites here by my bed be the last damn ones to know? All right. Thank y'all so much. Really appreciate it. We went over 400 at one point. I think I sent it, make it to 403, and then we dropped back down. But thank you guys so much for being with me. I really do appreciate y'all. And yeah, don't feed the trolls. I don't worry about them, because you know what? At the end of the day, the part they don't realize is the more that they sit and poke at me, and the more they make it their life's mission to poke at me, the more they boost the algorithm, the more people sees me, and the more we get out there and do what we need to do. So fuck them. You know, it's like it doesn't matter. They don't realize that they're really my biggest fans at the end of the day, because they don't realize that they're one of us. They don't realize that they're actually a fan, because they're just so caught up in their own crap. So don't worry about them. Let them go. I really appreciate all of you for being here with me, and I appreciate y'all hanging out here at the table with me tonight. We'll have a good time. We'll hang in here for a while, and we may make this a regular thing again now that we're here. I was thinking about maybe picking a certain Friday night of the month and just doing one once a month. So if you guys would like to hear that, be sure to let me know. Also, if you've not subscribed to the channel, I saw someone say this a minute ago, and it's true. If you've not subscribed to the channel yet, be sure to hit the subscribe button. You can also hit the memberships. We've got different tiers. There's a $2.99 tier, a $6.99 tier, like $2.99, by the way, not $299. But anyway, like for $2.99, there's the first tier. Then there's the second tier is at $6.99. Then the third tier is $24.99. So be sure to check those out. There's a lot of cool perks with each. Tiers, so be sure to check into that. We've had a lot of members grow, and I do put a lot of members only content, especially when I'm recording these new songs. I definitely take my members behind the scenes, and there we go. We're back over 400 now, so we're good. But what happens is I end up taking a lot of the members behind the scenes and letting them see what we do in the studio. So you guys, if you want to check out the memberships, be sure to do that. And really appreciate you guys for being here, and appreciate all of you. Like I said, you don't have to hit the virtual tip jar. You don't have to tip, but for those of you that have, I truly appreciate you. It's really been productive, and I really appreciate you guys' help. But now this is the guitar if you just tuned in a while ago, I was telling the story of my first guitar. This is it. It's a Sigma made by Martin acoustic guitar. And my dad bought this in the late 80s, early 90s. He bought this. And so anyway, I'll tell you what, we'll do one for the Trolls since we hit 400. we'll play the Trolls a song. Actually, I'm kind of trolling them back with every song I write these days. But I wrote this tune here. It's not really political satire. It's just straightforward truth. I wrote a song called Burning Bridges. Because to tell you the truth, a lot of people, they'll say, you don't want to burn that bridge. And I'm like, do I really want to be over there to start with? Did I ever want to be over there to start with? Why should I try to cater to or to appease people that I have to, dilute myself and water myself down for? If you can't be yourself around people and just be 100% who you are, then what good are you? Or what good are they to you? That's my whole argument. I've always thought to myself, the thing that I love about what I'm doing now, and I'm not playing nowhere near, I played like 3 gigs this year, whereas before I made a living doing it. I played like 3 gigs this year, and I'm perfectly cool with it. Because I would much rather, hell, I've went out to shows and had people come up to me and say, hey, you're Tennessee Brando, I love what you do. Thank you for doing what you do. I would much rather be able to be myself and have random people walk up and shake my hand for that, as to kiss somebody's ass to get on some show somewhere that I didn't even, and have to, cater to a crowd of people that didn't want me there to start with. Fuck that, It took me a long time to realize that. It took me a long time to get to that point. But I remember I was talking to a friend, and he meant well. I know this person. He meant well when he said it. He inadvertently inspired a song, but he's like, well, you just oughtn't to burn bridges, man. You never know when you might need them. I was like, I'm never going to go back there again. I don't need that. So I wrote this song called Burning Bridges. I'm good at burning bridges. I ain't looking back on the ones that tried to knock me down and stop me in my tracks. You'll never hear me plead. You'll never hear me beg. I'm good at burning bridges. I'm never going back. Fool me once, you can't get fooled again. However the hell you say it, I won't let the bastards win. Say leave the door open, I may need it one day. I don't need to be reminded, son, I'll slam it in your face. played the same old song. I'll die upon this hill, I'll gladly stand alone. I ain't mending fences, boys, I sat on them too long. Yeah, I'm good at burning bridges, I'm never going back. It's true I may have stumbled, but now I'm back on track. I'll forever let my light shine as they fade to black. I'm good at burning bridges, I'm never going back. All right, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate y'all for being here, man. It means a lot to me that you guys are here with me. Thank you so much for doing so. Thank you for taking time out of your Friday to be with me. I hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone is hanging in there and just kind of moving some stuff around. Thank y'all so much, man. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a whole lot of fun here so far, and hell, I'll keep going for a while. Like I said, I ain't got nowhere to go tonight, nowhere to be, so I can stick around with you guys for a little bit. Now, here's a tune that I wrote, and for those of you that are new to what I do and just started following me, which is most of you, like I was talking about earlier in the show, I've been a songwriter now for over 25 years. Been playing music in this part of the world for a long time. If you want to find music outside the Tennessee Brando banner, go to Spotify, iTunes, wherever it is that you download music, and look up Brandon Fulson. That's Brandon Fulson, and you can find the I guess you could say serious albums, whatever, the non-political commentary albums that I made back then. Although if you was listening close enough, you would definitely have heard the politics on there. For the people, it's like, I can't believe you're a liberal. I'm like, you really wouldn't listen too close. If you didn't catch that before, then you really wouldn't listen to start with. But anyway, I made an album that was heavily influenced by bluegrass. It was my attempt at a bluegrass album. And I called it Poa Pratensis out of pure sarcasm, because the term Poa Pratensis is a scientific name for the bluegrass that grows in Kentucky. And so when I first wrote this album, I called it Because She Loved. And then I decided to call it Because They Love. We changed up the pronouns, and as my buddy said, he said, well, you made that song more inclusive. So we definitely did. But I'm going to play this one for you. And I want to thank everyone that's reached out, everyone that's got in contact with me. And I've carried on a lot of great conversations with a lot of you. And I just hope everyone is having a good week. Hope y'all have a good weekend. And we'll do this song here. Like I said, I wrote this and it's on the album Brandon Fulson, Poa Pratensis is where you can find the bluegrass version of it. But I kind of changed it up a little bit, kind of reworded it, and I went back to playing it the way I originally wrote it. When I wrote this tune, this is how I wrote it chord-wise, and I kind of changed it up in the studio, and then I went back to the original pattern. So, yeah, that's a Vince McMahon reference. Yeah, I caught that one. But anyway, let's play this one for you. It's called Because They Love. She was raised back in the holler where the hills were high and the grass was blue. Growing up in the Reagan years, it was hard getting by, but her family made it through. She went to church every Sunday and listened as the Reverend doomed her soul. Looking at the choir girls and feel as they were out of her control. Because she loves in a different way. She wouldn't be the girl of her mama's dreams. Because she loves, she'd stare down the hate and live a lifetime forever judged. Because she loves. Met a girl from West Virginia, different notch, same old Bible belt. The spark was there, they lit the fire, finally open up and be themselves. They faced all the hate mail from people cherry picking ancient books and drawing stares for holding hands from people who could kill them with their looks. Because they love in a different way, they wouldn't be the girls of their mama's dreams. Because they love, they'd stare down the hate and live a lifetime forever judged. Because they love. Sister's on her third divorce and preaches sanctity. Brother won't claim baby from mama number 3. Mom won't come to dinner cause she says they make her sick. Daddy's trading his prescriptions for hookers, turning tricks. Because they love, like every one of us, they should never feel unwanted or denied. Because they love and wear their heart on their sleeve. Tell me, who are we to judge? Because they love. Because they love. Because they love. Because they love. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. Thank y'all for just tuning in. We definitely set a record. Back when I first started doing these shows, I think, the old record, the first record I set was like 60 people, I think. Then I did it over on Facebook a couple of months ago, and we made it up to over 200, and now we've went over 400. So thank you guys so much, and glad to see all you woke hillbillies in here with me. Really appreciate it. We're going to lighten things up here, get back to some of the satire for you. Oh man. You know, sometimes people make me wonder, really. I say to myself, are they really that stupid, or are they just playing a gimmick? I don't know. I mean, I definitely think that Lauren Boebert is stupid. But damn, she's found her audience, and she knows how to work that crowd, no pun intended. So anyway, I wrote this tune. What's funny about this song, I got a funny story behind the whole thing, because as I was writing all these political, satirical tunes, people kept saying, when are you going to write about Lauren Boebert? And I was like, well, I mean, any day now, she'll give me something to write about. So I wrote the tune, and then I don't know, I just didn't put it out right away. It was just one of those, because I was still kind of tweaking it. I was still kind of trying to figure out how I was going to go about it. I was still kind of, really, I had the words and everything down. I was just trying to figure out how I would go about, writing the song, because I've got a lot of songs like Hard On for Hunter. It's the waltz beat, like that, And so when I wrote this tune originally, I wrote it like that. I wrote it like, Bobo's a new kind of clown. Really sarcastic and slow, draggy country. But then I don't know. I was like, I need to do something different with this. I need to change it up, and I don't know how. And so then I just said to myself, well, I'll wait till she screws up again, and when she screws up again, I'll put it out. I thought that'll make sense. I'll just wait till she screws up, and I'll write a song about it. I'll finish this tune. And so anyway, she sure enough did when she went to the Denver theater. And I was like, okay, now's my moment to do it. But what's funny about it, as I was watching her being thrown out, like as they're showing the camera footage of her being walked out, that little sassy walk she had going, I just had a flashback. I just had a moment where I was triggered, and I was took back to like my years playing in the dive bars. I used to play at this one particular dive bar in Tazewell, Tennessee called the Mustang Lounge. And they only had one rule in the whole place, and that was no cigarettes or no alcohol on the dance floor. You pretty much do anything else, but just don't get on the dance floor with a cigarette or a beer in your hand. And I can't count the times that somebody would get up there drunk, forget that. I don't know about their third warning, they'd get thrown out, and they would protest, they would get mad, and they would throw stuff, and they would prance out all mad. And I have seen so many drunk girls do that. You know what I mean? That when I watched her being thrown out, I just immediately flashed back to the Mustang Lounge and was like, yeah, I've seen that. And I could so see her just disregarding that rule and getting on the dance floor with her beer. And so I just pictured me and my band up there playing just like this honky-tonk blues song and her just strutting out the door. And I just rewrote the music to it to bring it up to this. So here we go. We hit 420. But yeah. So I rocked it up a little bit, and the band got it recorded. It's on Shots of Truth Volume 2, so you guys be sure to listen to that. We had a great time. Greg Horn put some really good, just solid, raunchy steel guitar on this one, so I think y'all are going to love it. But anyway, it goes like this. Bobo's a new kind of clown, a pretty little talking head. Country boys love to stare her down. Yeah, Bobo's a new kind of clown. They put her in tight jeans and a gun on her hip, long curly brown hair and ruby red lips. Her only agenda is on in the lips. Is she really just that dumb, or is she reading the script? Yeah, Bobo's a new kind of clown, a poor man Sarah Palin, and that's sad. Throwing dumb one-liners around. Yeah, Bobo's a new kind of clown. Preaches family values while hers goes off the rails. Tries to praise the good Lord, but too busy raising hell. Now I ain't passing judgment, I know that divorce is tough. Her own words, I guess she didn't chase Jesus enough. Yeah, Bobo's a new kind of clown. Always got a handy for everyone. Not one shred of class can be found. Yeah, Bobo's a new kind of clown. Yeah, Bobo's a new kind of clown. All right. Well, thank you all so much, man. I appreciate you sticking with me here tonight. It's been fun. We're going to keep going for a while. But, yeah. I saw somebody say that from now on, if you're in a movie theater and that happens to you, it's called a Boebert. So, I don't know. I guess we're going to retire the term handy. I don't know. But anyway, thank you guys a lot, man, for being here with me. Really appreciate y'all. Hope you guys are having fun. We'll play a couple of tunes from some of my older albums, and hope you guys enjoy these. Like I said, if you've never stepped outside of the Tennessee Brando music that's on Spotify, if you look up Brandon Fulson, that's Brandon, Fulson, you will find some of the tunes that I wrote back in the day. I've got about 6 or 7 albums on there. This tune here is off of my album, Forgotten Appalachia. And I wrote this tune. I kind of took a couple of people and just kind of put them together. It was several people that I knew. But, when we hit 420 a minute ago, it made me think of it. And I saw someone request it earlier, so thank you guys so much for requesting this tune. But yeah, this is a true story, by the way, as far as the the old man with the RV that sold certain things around town. One day I was driving by, and a friend of mine was with me, and I said, "Hey, there's that RV, there's that camper I was telling you about." And she's like, "Wait a minute, that was a true story?" I was like, "Well, yeah." It's not hard to believe in this part of the world. But anyway, we'll do this one. I don't know if the person that requested it earlier is still here, but either way, I'll send it out to them. And thank y'all so much. Yeah, we are. We're moving right along, and I really appreciate it. We're approaching 600 likes. We made it over 400 a while ago, and so I really appreciate you guys for hanging in there with me. This one here is called Elmo King. Elmo King sells a little weed, he wouldn't harm a fly. Out back of the church in his RV was the first time I got high. He said it ain't like pills, it ain't like wine, it's a God-given herb. It's heaven sent, but the government went and done outlawed the earth. Now them meth heads are selfish, they won't share their stash. Give a redneck vodka and he'll try to whip your ass. But a stoner will share his good time, take a toke to pass it around. Elmo King sells a little weed, the finest in the town. Yeah, Elmo King sold a little weed a few miles from the school. A friend in need turned out to be an undercover man in blue. They drove by hookers and they passed up pushers to haul Elmo away. Now the grandkids are gonna be all grown before he sees the light of day. A hero in Colorado is still an outlaw in these hills. Front page bust covers up all the sheriff's dirty deals. Yeah, they're shutting down in a welfare town, done fell on hard times. The Elmo King sold a little weed, and I don't see the crime. Yeah, Elmo King sold a little weed. And it ain't no crime. All right. Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. It's been a really good time here. I'm going to go a little while longer for you guys, and I really appreciate you being with me and hanging in there. Thanks to everyone who's hit the tip jar. Remember, you don't have to do that, but I truly do appreciate you, and I appreciate you hanging in there with me. And thank you for clapping wherever you may be. I really appreciate it. Now, this tune here, when I've been doing these Shots of Truth albums, which is mainly the political satire stuff, I definitely try to work in some of the more serious tunes because I feel like that's one of the things that I've always liked. I've always enjoyed is bands. A lot of the bands back in the 60s and 70s, hell, they would have all sorts of like funny tunes on their albums, but they would also have real serious tunes, songs that address certain issues that was going on in the world and dead serious stuff. And so I definitely wanted to stay true and keep that serious nature in there too, so that people would realize that they weren't just listening to a comedic act, that there was something more there to hear. And so this tune here was on my album Forgotten Appalachia. You can find it under Brandon Fulson. That's Fulson. You can find it under there, but I decided to redo this tune with the band because on the original version it was just me and a baritone electric guitar with my buddy John Baker playing some slide guitar with like doing some volume swells with the volume knob. And I always loved that version. It's a great version, but I thought, me and the band started playing it and worked it up and started playing it out live and stuff. And I thought, man, we need to get a full band recording of this one. And so we did, and it's going to be on Shots of Truth Volume 2. But I got the inspiration for this tune. I wrote it around 2018. I just actually finished the album Forgotten Appalachia, and I wrote this tune. And the reason that it doesn't have drums on it on the original version is because the drummer went on vacation, and the album had to come out. And I ended up just going into the studio and recording it with the guitar and the slide. But anyway, I got the inspiration for this tune from a friend of mine who was recovering from drug addiction, and she was in the process. She'd been clean for like 18 months. I remember that, and she was talking about it online. And somebody was giving her a hard time because she had made a whole lot of progress. She had given up the hard stuff. She hadn't drank anything, but she was still partaking in the weed, and so she had people giving her a hard time about that. And she made a comment about, hey, that's the only thing that I do, and I don't see that that's the end of the world, considering that I kicked all this other hard stuff and I haven't touched it since. And as far as I know, to this day, she still hasn't. So that's good news. But anyway, I just got to listen to reading the comments of the people going back and forth with her about that. And then I just wrote this tune. It's called Hillbilly Angel. It's been 18 months since you kicked that demon. 6 a.m. and the baby screaming, the cold trucks woke up Maggie again. She still likes her reefer in the morning, gets tired of hearing her shrink a warning. Now she's one toke away from a gateway back to sin. Works part-time down at Conley's Drive-In. Such a great time to be alive in. The old men hang around to watch her sway. Some like to flirt and some talk shitty. Pick up lines worse than Conway Twitty. Smiles through gritted teeth for take-home pay. She left Path Fork and she headed for the crater, just to get away from all of the haters. She goes home alone, she's nobody's darling. When she smiles, she looks just like Harlan. Who'd have thought she'd ever live to tell? She's a hillbilly angel on a mountain that's blown to hell. Figures coming back, the family's talking. Some try to say she's out street walking. She's out on the porch, taking selfies on Instagram. Her ex-old man's out causing a riot. I heard he's back on that Jenny Crank diet. Looks back and can't believe she ever gave a damn. Mama says, girl, you really need Jesus. She's too busy crushing on Norman Reedus. Besides, she can't go out on a Sunday night. Gets lost in her songs every time she hears them. Caught up in the groove and addicted to the lyrics. If anyone asks, tell them she's doing alright. Yeah, she goes home alone, ain't nobody's darling. When she talks, she sounds just like Harlan. And who'd have thought she'd ever live to tell? She's a hillbilly angel on a mountain blown to hell. Just a hillbilly angel on a mountain that's gone to hell. Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it. And appreciate you guys hanging in there. My pronouns are he and him. Thank you for asking. And you know something? I was talking when I interviewed Gloria Johnson on my podcast, and for those of you that don't know, I have a podcast I do. It's called If These Hills Could Talk, and you can find it pretty much anywhere it is that you stream podcasts. But when me and Gloria was having a conversation, we came across the pronoun conversation. And one thing that we talked about was just how ridiculous it is. Like, when you wouldn't believe when I put some of you probably would believe this, but when I put my my pronouns in my bio, I did it just because I had so many people asking, just like the person that asked a minute ago. I did it because so many people were asking, and I thought, I just want people to know that it's 2023 and I'm not an asshole. That's basically why I put it there. And you would not believe the hate mail and the absolute. I mean, you would have thought that I did something really terrible. But that's the type of people and that's the type of hate we deal with in this world, and it's ridiculous. I mean, it really is that people would get that bent out of shape over something like that. But yeah, that definitely was something else. But I'm gonna tell you, I made a video. It's out right now for you guys that follow me on Midas Touch. Be sure to go check out the video that I did talking about Laura Trump. Oh God, somebody had to ask about this. So Laura Trump is married to Eric, right? And she covered Tom Petty's "I Won't Back Down," which is for those of you that haven't heard it, I'm not going to tell you to go listen to it because I want us to remain friends. Okay, I want us to stay in good graces. I don't want to piss y'all off. So if you've not heard it, don't go look. But if you have, you know what I'm talking about. It's absolutely horrible. It's pathetic. But she's on. She goes on Hannity and starts talking about how that her song is being unfairly shadow banned because she's a conservative. And I'm like, no, well, she's like, why isn't my song appearing in the Apple iTunes searches? Why isn't and she kept saying, why isn't my song appearing first? And I'm like, well, first of all, it's not your song. It's Tom Petty's song. And second of all, the reason why your name is not appearing first is because your name's not Tom Petty. You know, Tom Petty's got so many different versions on there. He's got live versions, studio versions, demo versions, I'm sure. And then other artists like, Johnny Cash, Pearl Jam, people like that have covered it. So I'm pretty sure that's why. That's one of the reasons why that Laura Trump's name don't come up first. I believe it's because Tom Petty and Johnny Cash, Pearl Jam, they're probably going to appear first. But check out that video I did for Midas Touch. I'll share it again here on the page so you guys can see it. But it was pretty bad. It sounded like some phone booth karaoke. And, I talked about that in the Midas Touch video, how that one of my biggest pet peeves in the music world, man, is people that goes out there and rides off the name of famous people just to get booked and just to get a gig. And it happens all over the place, man. People does that shit. Someone like Laura Trump, she had a built-in audience for that. The minute she sang it, she had a built-in audience that would be like, yeah, we'll listen to it because it's Donald Trump's daughter-in-law, whatever. But, I just felt like that. I mean, first of all, Tom Petty's family sent Donald Trump a cease and desist letter for using it. So they didn't approve of him using it. And I imagine they wouldn't approve of Laura's train wreck either. But, so many people will go out there and they will write off somebody's name to get where they're going. And it's just ridiculous. When you got people out there, selling themselves as the former, I've seen some of the most ridiculous headlines for people out there trying to cash in on somebody, and I just think that's bullshit. And that's definitely what she did. She just simply tried to cash in on that, and she doesn't sing. I mean, she's auto-tuned obviously, but she doesn't. To my knowledge, she doesn't play an instrument or write or produce or nothing, and it's just a joke. It's an absolute joke that she's out there doing that. But yeah, I definitely saw that and had to make that video, and I want to thank Midas Touch for putting that one up for me because when I saw that, I thought I definitely got to talk about that one. But I really appreciate you guys for hanging in there with me and being here with me. She's definitely tone deaf. You got that right. Absolutely 100% tone deaf. And so, yeah. really appreciate you. Yeah, we've made it up here now, and we hit the 400 mark, and we 662 likes. It looks like on my end is what I'm seeing, and so yeah, thank you guys so much for being with me here at the table. I'm going to play y'all a few more tunes. Hang around a little while longer. I just thought I'd take a pause for a minute, and we can talk about whatever. I hope everyone's had a good time. And I know a while ago someone said we had a troll in the room, but like I said, don't worry about those. We will keep doing what we're doing, and we won't worry about it. But yeah, thank you so much. I started doing Midas Touch about it a little over a year ago now. I've been with them now, and I've definitely been doing that for a while. And I think what the Midas Touch Network does is just so good and so great. I love working with those guys. They're so good to work with, and they're just such an inspiration. And to anyone out there that doesn't follow Midas Touch, I would highly recommend that you go check them out, because one of my biggest arguments that I have made before is that, the mainstream media, they report the news completely different than we do on Midas Touch. They definitely spin things for drama. That's the thing about it. The things that Donald Trump has said over the years, he was able to capitalize on these little small hints of truth and then blow them into this big thing. There definitely is fake news out there, and there definitely is a lot of dramatic stuff, and there's definitely a lot of people, pushing for headlines, things like that. But it's annoying when you have the mainstream media talking about Donald Trump in the sense of like, well, what's his new strategy going to be going into the primaries? And I'm like, dude, the guy's he's a traitor. I mean, it's like, why are we not, why isn't more people saying that out loud? And what I love about working with Midas Touch, and what I love about what they do, is that they just call it for what it is. They don't say, oh, Trump's interesting speech. It's like, no, it was batshit crazy. Like why? Like, what speech was you watching? And so I really like how they do it, and I love watching Ben Meiselas' videos where he will take and he will show you what Joe Biden has said, and he will show you what Joe Biden has accomplished, and he will sit and show you what Trump is saying and what the Republicans are saying and what they may or may not have accomplished. More than likely they've not, but it's showing people the difference in the two sides. That's why so many times I've heard people say, well, the Democrats suck at messaging. I'm like, we don't over here on Midas Touch. Over here on Midas Touch, we're pretty much on point. But, Democrats are guilty, in the mainstream media anyway. A lot of times they just won't take the win when they get it. It's like you've got this. Just own it. Go for it. Say it out loud. They're going to crucify you for everything you say or do. They're going to hold you accountable for everything you say. And they're gonna throw all these phony and bogus allegations at you. Now, don't sit back and lay back on the ropes and just let them beat the hell out of you. Come back at them with the truth and let them know what's going on. When you've got people telling you that your vote shouldn't count, that you shouldn't be allowed to vote, and that's absolute insanity. And there shouldn't be this. Well, now what is happening with this movement? No, what's happening with this movement is they're trying to strip away democracy from all of us. That's what's happening. So that's why I love working with Midas, is because they just get right to that point, and they get right down to it. But yeah, and to your comment there, I understand the sentiment of what you're saying. My only argument is that on Midas Touch Network, people like us do have balls. People like myself and Texas Paul and Coach D and the Meiselas brothers and so many more that works there. We are standing up and saying it. So. Be sure to follow those guys if you haven't already, and I'm proud to be part of it. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys taking time to sit here with me, and it's been a lot of fun. I've like I said, I haven't done a YouTube live in a long, long time. Funny story, I started this YouTube channel back in 2010, and I was just putting music on here. And then in the last 2 or 3 months, just since August, we've went from I worked my up to a little around 2,000 subscribers, I think it was, and then I shot to we're closing in on 25,000 now. We're 24,000 and some. So for those of you that haven't hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do that. Hit the subscribe button, and if you want to hit the join button and check out the memberships, you can check those out. I've got 3 different tiers with different perks on there, and so be sure to check those out and see what you like. You might see something on there that interests you. Like I was saying, when I do when I do when I take the band in the studio and stuff like that, I do a lot of behind the scenes content for the YouTube members, and so be sure to check that out. Also, if you go to like my Facebook bio or pretty much any of my bios online, I think it's even in the YouTube bio, you will find my link tree, which will take you to all the other places that you need to go to check out what I'm doing. Also here on YouTube, if you will go to the store, I've definitely got some really good designs on there now. We've really been working hard to get those up, and so want to thank Jessalyn Bowman for all the hard work she's put into that one to getting it out there, because I suck at that shit. I'm like the world's worst, and so I've been lucky to have her work with me and help me to get stuff out there. So all those designs you see, go check them out. We've had people asking for different items and different things, and we've worked to get what people wants in there. So someone asked me the other day if we could do a zip up hoodie, and we got one now. So so everything's going good. But thank you guys so much so much for being here with me. Thank you for joining up. I really appreciate that, and we will continue to stand up for democracy. And you know what's funny, folks? To be dead honest with you, 20 years ago, I would have never dreamed that we would be having this conversation. You know, that we would be sitting here talking about defending democracy. I thought that's something that we should all be doing this entire time. And the idea that that we're having to stand up and fight for it's pretty damn ridiculous. But I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. Why the 3 stars on the logo? That's a reference to the Tennessee flag. That is a reference to that. And the reason why I originally started off doing them, I would put the design on a red shirt or a red background, have that little blue star over here with the 3 stars. That's the Tennessee blue, but it's also, for the blue dot in the red state was kind of the idea behind it. And so, we're closing in on 700 likes here. We made it up into the 400s a while ago. We made it up to 420, and that reminded me to play Elmo King. So we're doing good there. But we did it. We hit 700 likes, man. Thank you guys so much for that. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that a lot. And we did it. We made it over the 700 mark. So I'll stick around here for a little while longer. You guys be sure to share this and to get it out there on the other platforms. I've shared it around, and I've had friends doing so. And for all you guys that are doing so, I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun sitting here with you tonight. So I appreciate all of you. I want you to know that I appreciate each and every one of you. Like I said, the following has exploded here on YouTube over the last couple of months. So I'm still learning the ropes of it. I'm still trying to figure out how it all works. Still trying to figure out how to do the whole memberships things and all that. So I really appreciate you guys for taking part in it. And as I've said before, thank you for buying the ticket and taking the ride with me. I really appreciate it. But that would be funny. No, I know what you're going for there, pal. You're trying to act like that. I've had people tell me that democracy is an ideology, and you're asking me if democracy is canceling people. And no, it's not. There's a completely different. That's apples and oranges that you're trying to compare there. The whole cancel culture thing to me is bullshit, because people figured out how to work that to their advantage. Were there people out there who were unfairly attacked for things they said? Yeah, and I have never been at no point have I been for, doxing people or trying to take their job away from them or nothing like that over something that I disagreed with. Never nothing like that. If I disagree with you, I'm not going to, call for your head to be served upon a platter. That's not what it is. But over time, there was a lot of people that started saying things and doing things that other people didn't want to be associated with. If you work for a company and you're saying things that they don't want to be associated with, that company has every right to break ties with you. That's not democracy. That's not First Amendment. That's none of those things. I mean, if I'm a musician, I'm going to give you an example of what I'm saying. I've been a musician for 25 years. Do you think that my left-wing politics goes over in bars in East Tennessee? Do you think people in Southeast Kentucky would let me play at their restaurant and walk in there and do this show, the show you're sitting here watching tonight? Do you honestly think that I could take that to, Billy Bob's bunker in Kentucky or some shit? Do you think they would let me? Do you think they would let me do that there? And if they don't let me do that there, that's not them silencing me. That's not them saying that I don't have a right to democracy. That's not them saying that. That's them saying they don't want to be associated with me. And it's the same thing when you have people that says things and does things, and someone says, we don't want you on our network anymore, or we don't want you on our platform anymore, or we don't want you in our show anymore. That's not your First Amendment rights being stripped away. That's not your democracy being taken away. That's just accountability for what you say, And I have never one time said, even though my phone completely quit ringing, even though all the places that you used to book me will not do it anymore, I've not one time got on here and called out any of them and said they're silencing me and they're stripping my democracy from me and they're violating my First Amendment. No, they have a right as owners of their establishments to not have me in there, and that's what that is. So, see, it's one thing to lose a job or a TikTok channel. It's another thing to lose your damn vote. And what's going on the other side of the fence is they're trying to do away. They're saying, let's secede from the Union. I mean, they're acting like it's damn 1860, and they're saying, let's secede from the Union and let's form our own government. Let's do our own thing. And you guys won't have a right to say something. And that's what we're standing up for and saying, no, we have to have democracy. You have every right to vote however you want to in this country. And you have every right to say whatever you want to in this country. Do whatever you want to do. Say what you want to say. But there's accountability for those things. And I don't expect people to cater to me. So why do you expect people to cater to you? Why do you expect that? Why do you think that someone should just be okay? I mean, with turning over their platform to you. That's my whole argument. It's not about, we're not trying to tear people down. It's just that's not what this is about at all. So I know a lot of people have said things like that to me when they'll point to something. Somebody went off on some racist rant and got kicked off the radio. It's like, okay, that's because that radio station didn't want to be associated with that kind of rhetoric. It's really that simple. It's not their democracy wasn't taken away and their freedom of speech wasn't. It's just they didn't want to be associated with that. And I don't see why that's so hard for people to understand. And I also don't understand, there's, like I said, so many people capitalize on the whole cancel culture thing because if you're a country singer, and I can give an example of what I'm saying here, but if you remember like Morgan Wallen, before he really exploded and blew up and went, into the mainstream like nothing else before. Don't get me wrong, the guy's sold all kinds of albums. But prior to that, he made more headlines by saying controversial shit and by being caught on camera saying controversial shit. Well, when that happened, a radio station pulled him for just a couple of days. And everybody said, oh, he got canceled. He got canceled because one radio station over here pulled him for a day or two. Well, then everybody ran out and bought his shit. I'm over here saying, how the fuck did he get canceled? He's all over the place. He wasn't canceled. He was boosted to the moon because he figured out how to play that system. So it's not what people think that it is. I don't think so anyway. And like I said, you just have to be willing to take responsibility for what it is that you say and do. And I have no problem at all with someone saying, we don't want you to bring your act into our room. Because guess what? I wouldn't want to take this act into their room. I wouldn't want to go sit in front of a bunch of people who didn't want to hear what I was saying and just sit and scream it at them and just, why would I? So you're exactly right. Freedom of speech is not freedom from consequences. That's spot on. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys listening and taking time to be here with me in the end. And so Yeah, well, I tell you what I did do, and I'll play it here for you in a little bit. I did write a tune for the Tennessee Three that came out back when they were expelled. Wrote that tune for them. Hell, I'll play it for you. I don't know if you may have missed it because it came out back when that happened. And I was writing a lot of the funny satirical tunes. And when I saw what happened to Jones and to Pearson and to Gloria Johnson, I decided that I had to get serious and write this tune. So we'll play this one for you. We've made it up to 741 likes. I thank you guys so much for that. I really do. But here is a tune I wrote for them called the Tennessee Three. They said right out loud, we ain't gonna fix it. You better get used to the blood. We took to the streets to raise up our voices. For too long enough was enough. The fascists moved quickly to silence the noise. Flex so no one can see. We can't let them fall. We gotta stand tall and stand with the Tennessee Three. You wanna talk save the children? Well, here's an idea. Keep them safe in their schools. No military weapons out on the streets in the hands of just any old fools. If we want to see our babies prosper and grow up in this land we call free, we cannot back down, stay strong on this ground, and stand with the Tennessee Three. No time for fake outrage, no time for culture wars. Our children are dying and we're tired of trying to reason with the lobbying whores. The blood on your hands will long be remembered for generations to see. But they'll remember a time we didn't turn a blind eye and we stood with the Tennessee Three. Now is the time we can't turn a blind eye. Gotta stand with the Tennessee Three. All right. Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it. So we'll play y'all a few more tunes. Hang in there with you guys a while longer, but I really appreciate so much you guys being here with me. It's been a whole lot of fun, and really enjoyed it, and I really like this format. I like doing it the way we did it, the way that we've went about it. The way we've went about it, we've talked about things for a while, and we've played a few songs, things like that, and I just think that that's a lot more fun to me doing it that way than just sitting here and trying to be a live jukebox every time. It's been a lot of fun doing what we're doing, but. Let's see. I'll do this one here because this is pretty damn funny. So many people, speaking of cancel culture and all that stuff, and people getting mad. I've lost track of what and all that the right wing is mad about now. I've completely lost track of it. I don't know what and all they're mad about. I just know that it's going to be something. I know they're mad at Taylor Swift now. That's one of the latest. It's hard telling what they'll get mad at next. But they went through a phase where they got really upset at Target. And I thought it was funny and wrote a tune about it. Bubba's mad at Target. Says they went woke. Screaming at his phone. Crying how they're going broke. He got all butthurt over pride and rainbows. Bubba's mad at Target. Says they went woke. For Bubba and his buddies, it's been some rough years. They gave up football and they shot up all their beer. Burned all their Carhartts, refused to shop at Dick's. Lost count of their outrage, I can't even with these pricks. And even Walt Disney got them all bent out of shape. Never knew the rednecks loved the Little Mermaid. They hated bro country, said it was for the birds, but cranked up Morgan Wallen when he shouted the N-word. Now Bubba's mad at Target, since they went woke. Says he just can't handle having shit shoved down his throat. And why do they always have to cram it in his face? Bubba's mad at Target, never shop there anyway. Yeah, Bubba's mad at Target, never shop there anyway. All right. Thank you guys so much. I tell you, one of the challenges to doing these kind of live streams is it's a real challenge to set and play and read the comments at the same time. that can get pretty tiresome. So yeah, we'll play this one for you. When I was sitting, like, I'll tell you what, like, back all the years I did playing music in the dive bars, the one thing that I did was, like, if I forgot the words to a song, it was because somebody did something crazy. Like, if I saw some commotion break out over here, I would look real quick and then I would forget where I was in the song. And so I'm not trying to ignore the comments, I promise. I'm just trying to get through. I started reading the comments a minute ago and got cracked up. So thank you guys. So anyway, speaking of them being mad at Taylor Swift, I wrote this one. I only played it the one time, so I'm trying to get it back in my head. All right, here we go. But yeah, they're all mad at Taylor Swift. And one of the funniest things, I mean, I don't know if funny is the word or just damn ridiculous, but one of the funniest things is they was trying to say that they thought, these conspiracy theory dudes was trying to say how they thought that she was some sort of like she was one of the Anton LaVey's daughters reincarnated or some shit. And it was just like, what next? But anyway, take it easy on them, Taylor. They've had a hard time. They can't catch a big win, and they're losing their minds. They can't go and watch a movie. They can't even drink a beer. Take it easy on them, Taylor. It's sure been a rough year. You'll reach the younger generation. They could never win that crown. All the kids are gonna stand up and vote their sorry asses out. They're scared to death of progress, can't stand the thought of change. And you broke their cardinal rule. You won't just shut up and sing. So take it easy on them, Taylor. They're so worked up these days. They went so damn crazy. I even heard a couple say you were spawned straight from Satan. They think you're one of them LaVeys. Take it easy on them, Taylor. They know they're gonna fade away. Ah, give them hell, Taylor. We don't need them anyway. All right. I really appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys for sticking around, and we've had a good time here at the table. And I remember, I want to give a shout out to my good buddy Texas Paul, because I do remember a conversation he and I had back when I first got on the Midas Touch Network, and I was just trying to figure out how to bridge the gap between everything that I'd done in music and everything that I was doing over here with the social commentary. And I was trying to figure out how to bring those two things together, because I'd written all these serious songs, and then I was doing the social commentary, and it was like how can I mix those two together? And I was talking to Paul, and Paul was like, "Man, you just got to go for it." He was like, "Just." We were talking on the phone, and he was like, he's like, "Dude, it's there." He's like, "Just go for it." He's like, "Write the songs about the stuff you're talking about." He said, just whatever it is you're talking about, just write a song about it. He's like, you've got the ability to write songs, so just write them about that, and just do that. He's like, just reach out there and take it. It's yours. He said, it's there waiting for you if you just take it. And that conversation really had an impact on me. And I remember thinking, okay, well, let's see if we can't take it, you know. And so I ended up right around the time he said that, and I've written some songs that have political leanings before, things like that. But right around the time he said that, I wrote a song called "Bill Lee is a Drag" for our governor here in Tennessee, because they were having the whole drag queen debate, and I wrote that tune and threw it up on Twitter. And when I did, Texas Paul shared it, and it exploded. And he was like, "See there, I told you, bud. Just that's what you got to be doing. Just do more of that." And I was like, "Okay, like, okay, I think I got this now, Paul. Thanks." But anyway, you know, it really, I just have to give a shout out to Texas Paul and thank him for giving me that inspiration, and also for giving me the confidence to just go for it. You know, to just go ahead and go for it and start doing it. And after that, like I said, it just opened up a floodgate. And then it was like, okay, now there's plenty of stuff to write about. I'm kind of like, I remember hearing one time I heard a conversation with Weird Al. And they asked Weird Al, said, "Will you ever run out of things to write about?" And he said, "No, not as long as people write songs. I'll always have something to do a parody of." It's kind of the same concept. I'm always going to have material because Lauren Boebert's always going to be making a mess. And as long as Bill Lee is the governor here in Tennessee, this song will still be relevant. The governor says I should be afraid of the latest boogeymen. They're all wearing dresses and reading books to the kids. But he's okay with my children having active shooter drills. And he's never said a word about what the priests have done for real. Yeah, Tennessee is home to me, but I do have to admit it's getting a whole lot harder to say y'all come again. 'Cause everywhere I turn, a redneck waves some hateful rag. And it's the blind leading the blind, 'cause old Bill Lee, he's a drag. Good old boys dug hair bands back when glam rock ruled the day. Wore spandex and their high heels, and now they're all afraid. I hear tell the governor used to dress in women's clothes. Go ask him about it and just watch his head explode. Yeah, Tennessee is home to me, but these sure are strange times. I never thought I'd see the day when being homeless was a crime. And these hypocrites out screaming that their God hates fags. And it's the blind leading the blind, 'cause old Bill Lee, he's a drag. Yeah, it's the blind leading the blind, 'cause old Bill Lee, he's a drag. All right. You know, I've had some people say to me, "Well, man, don't you think some of these songs may get a little outdated from time to time?" And I was like, "Well, not necessarily. Not as long as people keep messing up. And not as long as we have people like Bill Lee, that song will be relevant. So we'll keep singing it. And I hope the day comes that it's no longer relevant. That's the thing. I mean, that's the thing that I'll say about all these songs is I would love to see the day come when, you know, we're not having to say these kind of things. You know, it'd be great." So I think that's what folk music is about. It's about raising awareness to things going on. And I'm sure if you ask Bob Dylan, or if John Lennon was here today and you ask him about certain songs he wrote, I'm sure he would be like, "No, I was kind of hoping that we would be past that in 2023. But I'm gonna do this song here, and I hope you guys enjoy this one. This one was on my album, Brando's Hillbilly Review, and you can find this on the Under Tennessee Brando. There was kind of a little transitional period there for me. I came up with an idea for a band called Brando's Hillbilly Review, And I started doing that, and I put the album out strictly under that name by itself. And then the Tennessee Brando thing really exploded. And when it exploded, I kind of felt like that, there was people that was listening to the Tennessee Brando stuff, and there was people that was listening to the Brandon Fulson stuff that I'd recorded. But that album was just kind of stuck there in the middle, and it kind of was the transitional one that took me over to where I'm at now. And so I decided to just re-upload it under the Tennessee Brando name and get it out there to people. It's one of my favorite albums ever made. If you've not checked it out, go check out Brando's Regular Review under Tennessee Brando. It was one of my favorite albums that I made. Really like some of the sounds that me and the band captured on that one. But now that I definitely did start leaning a little harder into the politics on that album, and then it just kind of went the rest of the way. This one here is not any political satire. This one here is dead serious, and I've got a story behind it. We hit 800 likes, man. That is awesome. That's a good note to hit it on. But I'll play you this tune here. Back in 2020, I was working on this little warehouse, and it was right in the middle of the pandemic. I ended up just pretty much stuck there. But I would hear people say just the most god-awful stuff during that time. And it weighed real heavy on me. And it's one of the reasons why I don't give a shit anymore, and I just say what I want to say. But a lot of the stuff people were saying and the things I was hearing during that year, just all the things I was hearing when all the protests was going on and everything that was going on that was happening, there were so many people out there that were really just... you thought they were good people at once upon a time, and then you realize, no, they're just full of all kinds of hate, and it just really got to me. And so I ended up writing this tune about it, and it's on the Brando's Regular Review album. You can find it under Tennessee Brando. I used to think they were good people, maybe just set in their ways. They told me it was all about heritage, nothing to do with the hate. But now I watch as good people look for a reason or rhyme to justify another man dying. I've lost count of the times. They say he should have just listened, he should have complied. If he wasn't up to no good, he would not have died. What about his rap sheet? What about his past? What if he were your brother? Is all I will ask. I could have swore they were good people, and now they make jokes for the dead. Then expect me to believe all lives matter while they thump books they've never read. I do believe they are good people. Stand against hate gives me hope. But if there's one thing I learned, what I thought were good people, really just a wolf in sheep's clothes. They say just entertain us, we don't care what you think. Just throw the football, shut up and sing. What will be remembered when it comes to the end won't be the words of the enemy, but the silence of friends. All right. Really appreciate you guys for being here with me. We'll do y'all a few more, man. We've had a great time here. And we'll definitely be doing this again soon, man. I really appreciate appreciate y'all so much. We made it up into the 400s a couple of times on the viewerships, and we made it over 800 likes. And I want to thank every one of you that hit the virtual tip jar. I always remember it's not necessary, but I truly appreciate it. It does help me to continue to do what it is that I do on here. And so, man, I really appreciate y'all so much. It's been a really good time. Yeah, we've had a good one, and I want to thank y'all for being here. That song right there, to tell you the truth, is not a fun song to sing because it sucks that it's true, you know. But you know, I'm definitely going to be making some more content tomorrow. But there's something I had on my mind. I'll share it with you guys first, since you sat here with me for almost 2 hours. I'll share this with you. Well, hell, we may have went over 2 hours by now. Yeah, we're right up on it. So, you know, one of the things I'm going to talk about in a future video is how that so many people will accuse people like us of spreading division and hatred. They do that all the time. I get that comment all the time from trolls. Like, well, why are you so full of hate? They'll say to me. Why are you so full of hate? And I'm like, why are you gaslighting me? You know, like, why are you projecting who you are upon me? Because, you know, I try to listen to everybody. I try to listen to what everybody's going through and hear the struggles they face. And I try to stand up for people who don't always look like me and don't always sound like me and don't always live the lifestyle that I live. And I just believe in democracy for all those people. And I feel like that if their rights are being stripped away, then mine are definitely in jeopardy. You know, and why would anybody want to sit and be okay with watching other people's rights go down the drain? And so the whole argument with me has been, you know, how can they come at us and say that we're pushing hatred and division when they are literally wanting to secede and just be by themselves and strip away our right to vote? You know, how is it? It's projecting is what it is, and it's gaslighting. That's exactly what it is. But still, you know, it's one of those things where that a lot of times, anytime they have an accusation, it's a confession, and they will accuse us of things like that. But at the end of the day, they're projecting onto us who they really are. And yeah, I appreciate you for listening, and so does the Buddha. I told the story earlier. You can go back and maybe watch the replay where I played the song that I wrote about the Laughing Buddha. But yeah, we've had a really good time here tonight, and I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. And yeah, it's been a whole lot of fun. It really has. So yeah, I really appreciate it, and I enjoy doing it this way. Like I said, I've enjoyed just sitting here and talking with you guys for a minute and hanging out and everything. So it's been a really good time, and we'll definitely do this one. We'll do this one again. So you guys be sure to stick around, because you know, there's always going to be plenty to write about. There's always going to be plenty to do, because there's just so much out there to talk about. So yeah, it's been a really good Friday. I really am looking forward to doing this again. So you know, if Fridays works good for everybody, I mean, I'm pretty flexible these days, and so we may start doing. Let's see, this is the first Friday of the month. We may do that, or may do the second Friday, whatever. We'll just figure out a way to go about it and do it. And you know, I saw a while ago. I saw Troy say that he loved the music but hated the message. And what I would say to him is just hang around. You know, maybe eventually you'll understand what it is we're trying to say. A lot of times, I think what a lot of people do is they listen to people on the they listen to right wingers tell them what liberals think. I think is one of the biggest things that there's so many times I'm over here going, we never said that. You know, we never shoved that in your face or tried to cram that down your throat. You know, like they say that stuff all the time, and there's so many times I've been sitting over here going, we didn't do that. You know, we never brought that to your attention. Some right wing talk show host somewhere, he brought it to your attention and he pointed it out and he said that we were all for it, and it's bullshit. So yeah, we'll pick a Friday and just start doing it. I really enjoyed being here, and I want to thank you guys again so much for joining up. If you've not yet subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and if for sure if you've not done that, also be sure to check the memberships out. Just hit the join button. You can check out the memberships if you want to become a member. You don't have to. You can just sit back and watch whatever. But also be sure to check out the merch store, because we've definitely got a lot of cool stuff in the store. So be sure to check those out. There's all kinds of items on there. I've been meaning to order something myself just to see what it looks like and see how it holds up. So if you guys do buy merchandise on the store, be sure to send me a picture or tag me in it. I'd like to see how it looked and how it turned out. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys hanging in there and hanging with me. Hope you guys have had a great time, and we will come back and do this again. We'll try to do it again next month. How's that sound? Is it good? In the meantime, just be on the lookout. I will be making content, and I will be letting you guys know when the album Shots of Truth will be out there. Hopefully it will be done in the next couple of weeks. All I got to do is just go in now. The band has got it laid down and tracked. All I got to do is go in and just mix it and maybe add some harmony vocals, something like that. But it'll be out in a couple of weeks, and we'll just keep tuning back in here and doing it. But again, I want to thank you guys so much for being with me. Thank you to everyone who liked it, shared it, got it out there. Thanks to everyone who hit the virtual tip jar and made it a good Friday night. I really enjoyed doing this with you, and we will be doing it again. So thank you guys. You guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you down the road.